Greetings, and salutations, beautiful people in the beautiful world. It is me, he is I am him, Zach Latimer, Z-Lat, and welcome back to another segment of Right and Exact, a shout out to a new nation, and a shout out to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today what I want to talk about is just giving, sharing, helping, and really just to take and examine and look where is yours coming from, right? So if we look at it, and a lot of people, when they share or they give or they help somebody else out, the only reason that they're doing this is because they're looking at what can I get from it? What is my investment going to be in this? I'm only looking at my return. So, and a lot of times people cover up their very sicknesses that they have of their extreme narcissistic views of themselves to say, okay, well, I gave a little bit here, I gave a little bit here, so now, this is what actually I expect in return. And even when they do these type of things, then they look at it as, they try to hold it over your head, keeping account of the things that they did. So, I helped you change that tire that one day. You remember that? And you remember that I helped you, I did your hair that day for free and you didn't have no money. And you remember all of this stuff that I did? And then try to hold it against you. So now you better do this for me. What was the intent behind why you did what you did? And you know what? The very thing that makes your giving more powerful is when your intent is your heart, when your heart is in it. When you do things that reflect the cosmos, right? But when you're doing things with expectations, then you have to start asking yourself now, what culture have you invested in that tells you this is what you should do? So if we look at it in that aspect, you can't, just as Chief has broke this down, you can't have two cultures coexisting. One is going to fight for dominance over the other. So if we look at it in the culture sense, one culture will tell you to hoard information, and the more information that you can hoard, then the higher value that you can hold for yourself. And a lot of people like to do this because the more information that you can dish out, the more information that you can start to spew from your head, then the more people start to look at you like the savior. The more people start to look at you and lean on you, and they love this. You eat this up. But you have to ask yourself now, how did you come into this information? This very information that you seem to be holding on to, this very information or whatever it is that you want to hold on to and hoard, how did you get it? The only reason that you got it is because somebody chose to share with you. Because somebody saw the value in that, you know what, there's no value in me just hoarding all of this information. There's value in strength and numbers. And that the greatest self-preservation is group preservation. So the stronger that you become is actually the stronger that I become. And I'm going to give with no expectations because it's going to reflect the very cosmos. Because it's the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. So when you see somebody investing in a culture that will tell you actually is to hoard, hoard and consume. So get as much as you can and consume, which is really the American way. Then you have to start asking yourself, is what culture I've invested in reflecting the very nature that is going on around me? Nature is something worth studying, right? Because if you look at nature, and nature just freely gives without expectations. Are you freely giving without expectations, or is there expectations on your giving? If you study and look at a tree, you study and look at the river, if you study and look at the sun, all of these things give freely. Does the river drink its own water? Does a tree eat its own fruit? Does the sun soak up its own rays, right? So when you start to look at and study these things going on around you, then you have to ask, then they freely give without expectations. And if we're going off of the law of correspondence and your soul is in this and you're going off of divine intent, well, it's going to reflect the very cosmos that you come from. So why are you doing what you're doing? And this is really, you either going to do it or you're not. Either you're going to help somebody or you're not, and either you're helping them in order to get something from them, or you're just helping them because you know that the greatest self-preservation is group preservation. There's really not much to this. So I just ask that you examine. I ask that you look at what is your seed of intent? What is your intentions behind helping others out? What culture have you invested in? And this even goes down to with your spiritual work. People can feel when you're not organic and you're not authentic and you're only giving them a piece of you and not the whole thing of you. So then therefore they don't even recognize you for who you are. Same thing when you go down to your shrine or your jingile and you come with pieces of you, fragments of you, but then you expect the spiritual world to give everything back to you. You need to start looking at what is your intent behind why you're doing what you're doing, and are you giving your whole self freely, willingly, with no expectations. All right. So I will that you got something out of this. I will that you have a wonderful day. Go to Enlightenment and Transformation. Chief will go all the way in. He breaks all of this down. You can check out Community Radio with my sister Kim every Tuesday and Thursday, or you can chop it up with me on Facebook or even Instagram, Zach Latimer, ZACHLATIMER. We can get deeper into this, but give, man, share. Somebody willingly and gave it to you. Willingly give it to other people, man. In a world of give and take, give what you can, take only what you need. I'm out. Peace.